At 32, Maya thought she had her life figured out: corporate job, serious boyfriend, wedding plans in motion. Then she met Reina at a painting class, and every carefully constructed wall began to crumble. Sometimes the person who changes everything isn't who you expected. Sometimes discovering who you really are means unlearning everything you thought you knew. This is the story of two women who found each other while finding themselves. Maya's hand hovered over the canvas, brush loaded with crimson paint that seemed too bold, too exposed. "You're overthinking it," a voice said behind her. Warm with amusement, Maya turned to find a woman with paint-stained hands and knowing dark eyes watching her. She'd noticed her when she walked into the community art studio 3 weeks ago. Hard not to notice. Someone who moved through the world like they owned it. Reina Lopez, the instructor, had introduced her. 35, visiting artist, specializing in abstract expressionism. Maya had Googled her that night and found gallery features, a small but devoted following, and photographs that made her look even more intimidating up close. "I like to think things through," Maya said. Defensive, I can tell. Reina moved closer, and Maya caught the scent of paint thinner and something floral jasmine maybe. But painting isn't about thinking. It's about feeling. Maya stared at the canvas. Everything in her life was about thinking. Her marketing career, her relationship with Derek, her 5-year plan that included marriage, a house in the suburbs, 2 kids by 35. Feeling was messy. Feeling was dangerous. Here. Reina's hand covered hers on the brush, confident and sure. Stop planning what it should look like. Let it surprise you. The touch sent electricity up Maya's arm. She told herself it was just surprise, just the unexpected intimacy of a near stranger guiding her hand. But when Reina's breath ghosted across her neck as she leaned in to observe, Maya's whole body came alive in a way that felt nothing like surprise. "See?" Reina murmured. "Better when you stop fighting it." Maya looked at the canvas. The crimson paint had become something wild and beautiful, nothing like what she'd planned. Nothing safe. When class ended, Maya practically ran to her car. She sat gripping the steering wheel, heart racing, phone buzzing with texts from Derek about dinner plans. Running late, she typed back, "Be home soon," but she sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at her engagement ring, a sensible princess cut, picked after extensive research on cut, clarity, and value, and wondering why Reina's touch had felt more real than 3 years with Derek. The panic attack hit at 2 a.m. Maya was planning the wedding seating charts, vendor contracts, color schemes, when suddenly she couldn't breathe. Derek slept soundly beside her, and she felt like she was drowning. She grabbed her phone and escaped to the bathroom. Sitting on the cold tile floor, her Instagram had somehow found Reina's profile. Photos of bold paintings, gallery openings, Reina laughing with beautiful people at art events. And older photos, Reina with a woman, kissing, holding hands, tagged with rainbows and pride flags. Maya's hands shook as she scrolled. She'd never thought about women that way, had she? There'd been that one friend in college, Sophie, who she'd been weirdly jealous of when she got a boyfriend. And that barista last year who made her nervous in a way she'd convinced herself was just social anxiety. She opened a private browser window and typed, "How to know if you're bisexual at 32. The results made her close the phone. But at 2:47 a.m., she opened it again. She read for hours. Stories of women who'd had boyfriends, some even husbands, before realizing they were attracted to women too. Women who'd spent years thinking something was wrong with them because relationships with men felt like work, instead of passion. Women who described finally kissing a woman and feeling like they'd been asleep. Their whole lives stopped when Derek's alarm went off at 6. Maya was still awake, mascara stained and terrified. "Babe, you okay?" Derek mumbled. Fine, just stressed about work. It was so easy to lie. She'd been doing it her whole life, to her parents about what she wanted, to her friends about how happy she was, to herself about everything at the next painting class. Reina wore a black tank top that showed the tattoos covering her left arm, flowers and birds and words in Spanish Maya couldn't read. You came back, Reina said, smiling. Thought maybe I scared you off. Why would you think that? Mia's voice came out too high. Because you looked at me like I was dangerous last week. Reina's directness was terrifying. Was I wrong? Mia should have laughed it off, made some joke. Instead, she heard herself say, No, you weren't wrong. Reina's expression softened. Want to grab coffee after class? Just talk. I have a boyfriend. The words came out like a shield. I know. I saw the ring. Reina held up her hands. I'm not trying to look. I just think you might need a friend who gets it. Gets what? What it feels like when your life doesn't fit anymore. The coffee shop was busy, which felt safer than the intimacy of quiet. Reina ordered an oat milk latte with confidence while Maya stammered through her usual vanilla order. So, Reina said once they'd settled at a corner table. How long have you known? Known what? That you're not straight. Maya's heart stopped. I never said, you didn't have to. Reina's voice was gentle but certain. I clocked it the first time you looked at me. There's a difference between appreciating someone's art and looking at someone like their art. Tears burned Maya's eyes. I'm engaged, I know. To a man, Derek. We've been together 3 years. He's good, stable. My parents love him. Do you love him? The question hung in the air like smoke. I care about him, Maya said finally. He's my best friend. That's not what I asked. Maya's hands shook around her coffee cup. I don't know what you want me to say. I want you to be honest. Even if it's just to yourself. Reina leaned forward. Maya, I was married. To a man for 5 years. Thought I was doing everything right. And the whole time I felt like I was watching someone else live my life. When did you know? That I was gay? Always somewhere deep down. But I didn't let myself know it, if that makes sense. I dated guys because that's what you did. Married one because I thought it would fix whatever was wrong with me. What happened? I fell for a woman. My art dealer, actually. Reina laughed softly. Fell so hard I couldn't pretend anymore. Left my husband, came out, lost half my friends and my entire family for a while. Best worst decision I ever made. I can't do that, Maya whispered. I can't blow up my whole life. Then don't. Maybe you're bi. Maybe you stay with Derek. Maybe this is just a moment of confusion. Reina's hand moved across the table, stopping just short of touching Maya's. But Maya, you're miserable? I can see it. And you deserve to at least be honest about why. The wedding dress fitting was supposed to be magical. Maya stood on the pedestal in a cloud of white tulle, her mother and future mother-in-law cooing about how beautiful she looked. And all she could think about was Reina's hands covered in paint. The way she laughed with her whole body, how she looked at Maya like she was something worth seeing. Maya? Honey, her mother's voice pulled her back. You're crying. Are these happy tears? Everyone was staring. Maya looked at herself in the mirror, perfect dress, perfect hair, perfect life mapped out ahead of her. And she felt absolutely nothing. I need a minute, she said, stepping off the pedestal. She locked herself in the dressing room and called Reina without thinking. Hey, you, Reina answered. What's up? I'm at a wedding dress fitting and I can't breathe. And I don't know why I called you, but where are you? Maya told her. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Meet me outside. Reina, I can't just leave. Yes, you can. Make an excuse. Tell them you're sick. Tell them anything. But get out of there. Maya changed back into her clothes with shaking hands, mumbled something about food poisoning, and fled past her confused mother and future mother. Dash and Dash Law. Reina was leaning against her beat-up Honda Civic when Maya burst through the bridal shop doors. "Get in," Reina said. They drove in silence for 20 minutes, leaving the suburbs behind. Reina finally pulled into an overlook, the city sprawling below them. "Talk to me," Reina said, and Maya did. Everything poured out: the panic attacks, the feeling of being trapped, the way she'd been performing her life instead of living it, how she looked at Derek and felt only guilt because he deserved someone who loved him wildly, not someone who had to convince herself she was happy. "And then there's you," Maya said, voice breaking. "And I don't know what this is or what I'm feeling, but when I'm around you, I feel like myself. Like the real version of me that I've been hiding for 32 years. Maya, I know I'm engaged. I know this is wrong. I know I'm probably just confused or going through some crisis." The words tumbled out desperately. "But I can't stop thinking about you. And I've never felt like this about Derek or any guy I've ever dated. And that terrifies me because it means everything I've built is a lie." Reina reached over, taking Maya's hand. "It's not a lie. It's just not the whole truth. What's the difference? You loved Derek the best way you knew how. That's real. But you were loving him as someone you thought you were supposed to be, not who you actually are." Reina squeezed her hand. "And now you're waking up. That's not wrong. It's just late. I'm going to hurt so many people. Probably. But staying and slowly dying inside, that hurts everyone more. Including you." Maya looked at their joined hands. "I don't know how to do this. One step at a time. First step, be honest with Derek. He deserves that. So do you. And then you figure out who you are without him. Without the wedding plans and the 5-year plan and all the should-bests." Reina's thumb traced circles on Maya's wrist. "And maybe if you want, we figure out what this is between us. No pressure. No timeline. Just honest." Maya turned to look at her, really look at her. Reina's dark eyes held something Maya had never seen directed at her before. Desire, yes. But also respect, recognition. Like Reina saw all of Maya, even the parts Maya was just discovering. "I want to kiss you," Maya whispered. "Not until you're free to choose it," Reina said gently. "I won't be the reason you leave. You have to do that for yourself." Breaking up with Derek was the hardest thing Maya had ever done. He cried. She cried. He asked if there was someone else, and she told him the truth. "Not the way you mean. But I'm figuring out things about myself. And it's not fair to you to keep pretending I'm sure." He'd asked if she was gay. She'd said, maybe bisexual. "I'm still figuring it out." He'd said he loved her anyway, would wait for her. And she'd had to be strong enough to say no. That wouldn't be fair to either of them. Her mother stopped speaking to her. Her father sent disappointed emails about throwing away a good man. Half her friends chose sides. Work was awkward because Derek worked in the same building Maya got her own apartment small. Expensive, nothing like the house they planned. She hung her paintings from class on the walls. She cut her hair short. She went to a pride parade and cried at the sheer, overwhelming permission of it all, and she called Reina. "Hey," Reina answered, and Maya could hear the smile in her voice. "How are you?" "Terrified. Free, broke, happy, I don't even know." Maya laughed shakily. "Want to come over? I'll make dinner. Fair warning, I'm a terrible cook. I'd love that." When Reina arrived, she brought wine and flowers, wildflowers in sunset colors. "For your new beginning," Reina said. They cooked together, or rather, Reina cooked while Maya chopped vegetables. Badly, and talked about everything that had happened in the 3 weeks since they'd last seen each other. After dinner, They sat on Maya's thrift store couch, wine glasses in hand. "Can I ask you something?" Maya said, "Anything." "How do you know the difference between loving someone and being in love with them?" Reina thought for a moment. Being in love feels like possibility, like you can't wait to see what happens next. Love without the in love part feels like safety, like you know exactly what happens next and you're okay with it. "I want possibility," Maya said. "I want to not know what happens next. Yeah?" "Yeah." Maya set down her wine glass. "And I want to kiss you. For real this time." If you still want, Reina's kiss was her answer. It was nothing like kissing Derek had been. Derek's kisses were familiar, comfortable, a routine. This was earthquake. This was coming alive. This was every romantic movie Maya had watched and wondered why she never felt that way. Now she knew. She'd been watching the wrong people. When they broke apart, Maya was laughing and crying at the same time. "Okay?" Reina asked gently, better than okay. Maya touched her own lips, amazed. "Is it always like this? With the right person?" "Yeah, I wasted so much time." "No." Reina pulled her close. "You found yourself. That's never wasted time." They spent the rest of the night talking and kissing and simply existing together. Maya felt like she was learning a new language, the language of her own desires, her own truth. When Reina left at midnight, she kissed Maya at the door. "Take your time figuring things out. I'm not going anywhere." But Maya didn't need more time. She'd spent 32 years being who she was supposed to be. She was done waiting. 4 months later, Maya stood in a gallery showing Reina's latest collection, her hand in Reina's, surrounded by bold colors and brave art. The collection was called Bloom Again, paintings of flowers breaking through concrete, butterflies emerging from cocoons, sunrises after long nights. "It's about second chances," Reina had told the art blogger interviewing her. "About becoming who you were always meant to be, even when it's late, even when it's scary." Maya's own painting hung in the collection, that first crimson piece, wild and unplanned and perfect. Reina had titled it Permission. Maya had come out to her parents last month. They were trying slowly. Her mother had sent a text. "I just want you to be happy." It wasn't acceptance yet, but it was a start. She'd changed jobs, moving to a startup where no one knew her as Derek's fiancée. She was painting regularly. She'd made queer friends. She was figuring out what bisexual meant for her, not confused, not greedy, just capable of loving people regardless of gender. And she was falling in love with Reina, really, truly, wildly. In love in a way that made every day feel like discovery. At 32, Maya had finally bloomed, and she was just getting started. Have you ever discovered something about yourself that changed everything? Or struggled with whether to follow your heart or follow the plan? Share your story in the comments. You never know who needs to hear it. Follow for more stories about finding yourself, taking brave leaps, and blooming into who you were always meant to be.